What's up everyone, welcome back to another video by clip on my YouTube channel. So after a while, as I made a pause because of the super busy summer, and not only because the gigs are back, which is amazing information, but also because the last 2 years of pandemic caused to so many people to postpone the birthday celebrations, the weddings and so on. So I think that all of that celebrations have happened this summer, so it was really hard to follow. Regarding that, I couldn't make any videos, and also I thought it would be smart to make a small break because of the summer and the family life and a bit of the holidays and also a lot of gigs and festivals. So this will be the first video, and this video is going to be a warm-up video for the upcoming season of the videos I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use this opportunity to go through my track, which I just finished, and I already recorded this track. I found up a much better term to describe my music and the music that I used to describe in my videos as a progressive, but more precise term would be atmospheric progressive, something that's covered up with atmospheres, and that the main focus on that music is kind of the atmospheres. So the atmospheric progressive is missing on the scene right now, and not many people is making it. The only artist that is kind of new and that is making this type of the music, just also a little bit different, is Dekel, as this is the new wave from the music that is from 136 to 140, and Dekel is the only one who is doing this type of the music with kind of a square basses, with the music that is not that intense and it is a little bit lighter, but using a lot of atmospheres. Of course, there are many other artists on the scene that are making similar music, but all of those artists are mostly building up the tracks with a lot of synths, and all of those tracks are built like synth based, and all of those synths are kind of dry without much of the reverb and a delay, which causing that this sounds a little bit more generic. Of course, there is also a huge influence from the full-on scene, and full-on scene has been influenced by the forest and dark side, so we are all into some kind of a mash-up situation where all the styles are merging one to another, which is a wonderful thing. But when it comes for some type of the choices we need to make, and also we can experiment and take the best from all parts of the kind of subgenres of a Psytrance music, and this is exactly what I did in this track. So I had problems to finish because I again set up some mind barriers to me that I don't want to use a certain specific sounds, because I thought that way I'm gonna be doing something that's already been done. But I realized by using a different sequences from all kind of different parts of the Psytrance scene, I can actually make the tracks that are a little bit more richer and that will have the taste of all different subgenres of a Psytrance music. And this is exactly what I did for this track. I localized the problem, I removed that in my brain, and I start using some of the psychedelic sounds as well, and I finished the track much faster. So now I'm gonna play the track to you and I'm gonna explain as we go. Just before it starts, I just want to say that it's already 109 channels in total. So starting with the pad, start slowly, like slow build up. The track is in 140, note D. as already have happened so many things in this part. Mostly with the FM stabs and other rhythmical parts which I use to create something.
If I hear anything, I feel like I hear a low-pitched hum. I feel like I'm more aware of my heart. Can feel each pulse, and I can almost feel it radiating up my chest towards my head, like a wave. Counting really subtle sounds, so amplified, so your brain has recalibrated, so the quiet things seem much louder. I feel like I can feel more things, like with every beat of my heart it feels like my body shakes a little bit.
Yeah, so that's this type of the track which I'm really happy that I finished finally, because the track had a really good potential and a lot of these single shot sounds were already in, so really good atmosphere. But I was ending up every time I started working on this track that in this main break part I started writing the melody that's like a uplifting melody and then bringing back to the kick and the bass. So I really wanted to avoid that by not doing the same thing over and over again. So I really wanted to have something that's gonna sound fresh enough for me. Of course, maybe for some of you this will not be the fresh as I'm trying to explain, but for me it is, because it all depends from what have you been doing in the previous years and the previous tracks. So in general, like refreshing the track with something different from what I used to do. So I used a lot, like the new elements here, there's a lot of them. I added these squeaks, like more of these psychedelic sounds to call them that way. This one and then. But also it goes in a sequence, it goes in a repetitive. It has a pattern, like when it happens. So all of them together, like additional groove elements, like one small stab. And then this one, but with these serum stabs. And also with these additional groove elements which were there previously. All right. Okay, so there was a mistake here because I added the filtering to this part. So in this part, these sequences were muted. So I'm gonna keep him that way because I already built the track around it. I will need to keep that. But in general, you get the idea. So this is the first part, and all the way, this track is painted with this atmospheric sequences. Like it in this part specifically, it's going to a dry part, like. This is the moment when it's really smart, like when you build something and then you use a lot of sounds, atmospheric sounds. When you stop all of that sounds and you just push the groove, there's something magical happens. And also resetting the ears of the listeners to that level, so you can start doing all of this game with the single shot sounds from the beginning. So there's a lot of psychological things which we can do as the bass line is going, it's rolling bass line, kick and bass. 3 different bass lines, like one is the rolling one, like standard one. But somehow for me it's just not enough, like all these second layers. If you know how to do them properly, they're gonna just give something that's gonna push the groove to really to another level. And also it will reach the sound of the bass line as well, because you can do them to be a little bit more stereo, because they are not going in the low end. So we can do stereo, and that way to not go in the same zone where is the first really powerful bass line. So there's gonna be enough space for all of them, and the whole groove will be just much better. Like, and this one with the like. Additional bass lines. I added the additional bass lines, I added these squeaks, these stabs. I also experimented a little bit with the DUNE, and with DUNE 3 I own it for a while now, but I didn't have chance to go like super deep in it. I used to do a lot of tracks with DUNE 2, but when I upgraded, I think that I saw some promotion while I was in Brazil, so I bought it, I installed it, but I never got into it. Like every time when we buy some new instrument or something, like there is this moment when you do something that's gonna be really good, when you're gonna remember that, and this experience is going to be the reason why you're going to open it for the next time. Because I'm buying a lot of VST instruments for already 15 years, so I own a lot of them, and some of them in some moments I kind of do not use, which is a good thing as well, because once I start using, I feel refreshed, like I forgot about them, or I get some really nice preset pack or something like this. So there's going to be some reason why I'm going to start using them again. The same thing happens with the update of Omnisphere. Like it's really now it's amazing thing. Like there's been an improvement in ARPs, but I will keep that for some of the next videos. So in general, here again, the next thing I added voice. I forgot I didn't use the voice samples for a long time, and I really believe they are really important part of the Psytrance music, as they're gonna be that pixel moment that people are gonna remember track by that. So describing a Psytrance track is gonna be really hard, but if some listeners do not know the name of a track, they're gonna try to describe it by something. So every track, if we want it to be remembered, or not just a piece of the time, like 7 minutes of the music that's going to be just played once and forgotten. They need to have something to be remembered by. This is what I'm also trying to do with single shot sounds, but they are also much harder to describe. But if there's some sentence, if there's some meaning in our tracks, it's going to be much easier to remember them. This is a smart thing to do. Like if you start to calculate about building the careers as well, I know there are many of you are going to be against this, but on the end of the day, you're going to come up to the same thing. Like giving an extra effort to become able to, let's say, live from this. Like if you want to be creative and do your music, but you don't want to use it only in your free time, maybe you want to do it professionally, then it's important that some of the things we start doing in a smarter way. So the tip like this one, like if you put a voice sample, people are going to remember it. They're going to be easier to describe. It's going to be easier to ask for a track. Like if somebody is going to Google it, it might try to record to type in like what it says in this track. It might ask on some forums or the comments like, what is this track which has this name whatsoever. So it's going to be much easier to do so. So I decided to put the vocal sample, which is really nice.
If I hear anything, I feel like I hear a low-pitched hum.
So vocal sample, and there's also a lot of processing. And the important thing is that I also stopped doing videos because it was already kind of hard to do it with the old computer, but I got the new one with the Ryzen 7 AMD, but I'm gonna maybe mention that in more details in the new video. Anyway, so this was that track, and on the end, like also there's not the main happening, there's not that main melody on the second part of the track or the last part of the track, which is actually drying my energy a lot, which really makes me to my process of making music much harder. Like this thing, like there's a development, like this first stage I love a lot, and then there's a break, and somehow I got stuck for the last several years like that. In this part I need to do some melody, and then when it comes this part it goes full on, like the full drums with that melody on top of it. And this was the reason why I didn't make more of the tracks in the last several years, because somehow I just got stuck into that pattern, and I was looking around how to break up this pattern. First part of that was to localize the problem. When you understand what the problem is exactly, it's going to be much easier to solve it. So if you have also some problems finishing up your track, try to see what part of that stage is problematic to you, of what stage of writing the track is problematic to you, and then try to go deeper inside of that and see what is actually making you to not be able to finish it. Like I did it right now. I really wrote down like, okay, I start writing a track, another track, and I realized that on the same parts, like on the second part, I'm having a problem to finish it because I was doing the same thing. And then I realized that I also set some limits to myself, like you're not going to use that much of the psychedelic sounds, you need to use more atmospheric because I want to build a career. So there's some psychological idea that was stopping me from being creative as I could, but I decided now to get rid of all limitation and that I'm gonna finish this track in 2 days, which I did. So in general, I'm really surprised with the results, but as you can see, because I don't want to have the big ideas, the big moments in a track, I used so many channels, like 110, and with the new computer I can do even 110 more if I want. So that was the warm-up video, and I think that I said much more than I planned to, and I thought that to do like some video of this type just to just to get into this zone, but I realized that I'm actually already ready to start with the different types of the videos. But also I wanted to share with you this track because it's finally ready, and I think that I already recorded this track in 2 or 3 videos that I did previously. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and see you soon with another video.